Tom Clancy's The Division is a good game. A game that was troubled at its launch and its onset, arguably very controversial, disappointed a lot of people in a lot of ways. In my opinion, ended up being what I think is one of the better games that 2016 had seen. As much as a lot of other good games had been coming out before then and even after then, it's easy to harp on the negative sides of the game itself and other video games that came out poorly. This was back then when video game studios would show you a high-end trailer as the game, and then when the game came out, it was different. Even though the Division's marketing had what I thought was a little bit of some really sketchy marketing, where the developers at a conference played a high-fidelity version of the game. Basically, all the textures were much higher. Polygon counts were up the wazoo. They were probably running these things with server-based computers, or maybe they built a small segment of, the game, a vertical slice of the game in high graphics, and showed that to the world. And then the game came out and it wasn't as good. What was crazy is, even though it wasn't as good looking, because that was basically it was more of a cosmetic thing, the game at its core, in terms of mechanics, were just so well thought out. Diablo with guns, with enemy classes and enemy types, and sci-fi based skill armaments that you could use that were technologically advanced than what you had seen, with real agents not wearing sci-fi gear and using regular weapons that are in militaristic combat. I just don't know where you could have found something like that at the time. Many would say maybe games like, Vanquish and all, but many of these games are in the, market, and they have similarities to the Division based on mechanics that are like movement or, say theme and so on and so forth. But the core of what made the Division special was some of these things I just listed, including, most importantly, the aesthetics, the vibe, the feeling that you got when you were in New York, a dark, grim, post-pandemic world. I just don't see many video games being able to strike that lightning in a bottle type essence very easily today. Elden Ring, has struck it. Some other games have struck it in their genres, but The Division is so unique. I say all this just to drop the news that The Division Heartland has been canceled by Ubisoft, according to Tom Henderson, and according to XC's The Stars with his "I knew it, ha 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 ha" big huge laugh post that he put on here, because a lot of people had been suspicious. I'd been asking questions. Many of you can go back and look at my last few videos. I don't make a lot of videos on the Division these days because I'm waiting for Division 3, by the way. I don't know, many of you, I've been shouting from the rooftops that the Division 3 needed to be a game. Right? The Division 3 needed to be the game Ubisoft was focusing on, having spent time and money and investment into Avatar and Star Wars, putting the Division on the back burner, trying to make Heartland as a filler and Resurgence as a mobile game and all of these other things. It never really made sense to me how you could have a game so unique that you decided you were going to make a free-to-play version, basically a money-chasey version of the game. That wasn't necessarily the way to actually, earn the bag, because earning the bag requires the effort, requires you actually engaging with the fans, giving them what they want, not looking for a money gougey way of doing things. So maybe the improvements we've been seeing in the Division 2, which right now is the current Division game that is being supported, actively in a sense, maybe those improvements were indicative that Heartland was going to be canceled anyways. Right? Because they had announced Year 5 and all this stuff, and everybody was like, when is Heartland going to be able to come out in the middle of all of these improvements? Then they said, well, according to some rumors, because Ubisoft did not officially say anything about not having a Division 3 game. Remember, it was Insider Gaming that actually reported that sources close to Ubisoft had said that they had no plans for a Division 3 game. Do you guys remember February of 2023? Do y'all remember? Do you guys remember? I remember. Because I remember making a tweet, making multiple videos saying, Ubisoft, just come out and tell us if we're not getting a Division 3 game. Then Insider Gaming dropped this news. Then officially somehow Ubisoft came out of nowhere saying, oh yeah, we're making a Division 3 game. So I strongly believe that something is going on. It appears somebody is looking at the books, and this so-called talk of Ubisoft currently having no plans for the Division 3, which is a rumor, because that was not, like I said, it was never officially confirmed by anyone in Ubisoft. Maybe that talk has now become something of a cuss word within the ranks of those who are making decisions. I have to say Ubisoft has invested heavily in Assassin's Creed. They have not let time lapse with those Assassin's Creed games. However, they have failed and dropped the ball with how much they could have harnessed the power of Tom Clancy in terms of Ghost Recon, and most especially The Division. The Division was the new thing out the gate, one of their fastest selling games. But I'm happy to see that they are aligning their focus to one specific game. What this means now is Red Storm, and some of you who may be new in the Division community may be saying, well, what is the big deal in terms of, you know, them actually canceling a Heartland project? Would that not mean less games? Well, the Division itself and the Division 2 were developed, hand in hand with multiple studios, which Red Storm, which was a studio single-handedly, spearheading the Heartland game, was heavily involved. So if the Heartland project is actually nuked from orbit, it almost, in a sense, if things follow, their rhythm and pattern that they followed before, that Heartland developers, aka Red Storm, will now have their hands in the full production and full development pipeline of the Division 3. This is the news that we want to hear. This is the news that, in my opinion, I think really makes a whole lot of sense financially. Like, what's the point in, having a franchise that is beloved, supported? There are people still playing this game. If I fire up my Discord server, where the LCN clan, which is one clan among other clans, which is a clan that I actually am a part of, by the way, for those of you who are looking for a clan to continue to play the Division, the LCN clan is a clan that you can basically hop on, to, and a whole bunch of people are going to be there and happy to help you out. If I open the LCN clan server here on this video, you guys are going to see that this is a clan that is vibing and hopping, and people are still, talking, asking for raids and incursions, and, running around, and, people posting content surrounding the Division, YouTube videos and stuff like that. People are still talking about the Division. Link in the description, by the way. People are still talking about the Division as is. As is. Not even anything new or anything, novel in a sense. And that is, when I say the Division, I mean the Division 2 in terms of active gameplay. I still go back and play the Division 1, by the way. This footage that you're seeing was from yesterday. I mean, you can see the date and timestamp on my desktop. And yes, I like playing on windowed mode. Don't judge me. I don't know why. It's because I guess it's a productivity thing. When I first started, YouTube in 2016, I was doing everything myself. So I'd record my footage and then, basically alt tab and do other things. So I just kind of got used to doing that at the end of the day. But this is where I open the floor for your thoughts. Shout out to the community. Shout out to all those of you who are still playing the Division. I apologize for my lapse in dropping videos. Been really busy with the project. We'll tell you guys a little bit about it pretty soon. But, this is really interesting to see how all of this is unfolding and how the community was right. The community doesn't have to be, we don't have to be an analyst. I won't speak for everybody. I'll speak for myself. I've always been an advocate for the Division 3, even though I've been called crazy. Here we go. My Division 3 game that I've been talking about, and if those of you who've been talking about the Division 3 as well, our Division 3 game hopefully is going to land pretty soon. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks so much. Peace out.